The Kelvari invasion fleet had conquered 17 worlds in the galactic arm without a single casualty. Their reputation preceded them across the stars, towering bipedal warriors with exoskeletons that could deflect small arms fire, reflexes quick enough to dodge projectiles, and a natural immunity to most toxins. They were the apex predators of their home world, evolved through millions of years of dominance. Today, they were about to face their 19th conquest, Earth. Commander Torvek stood on the bridge of his command vessel, watching the blue-green planet grow larger on the view screen. Intelligence reports classified Earth as a death world, a planet with extreme conditions that somehow produced sapient life. The gravity was crushing, the atmosphere corrosive, the temperature fluctuations lethal, and the native life evolved to survive in these hellish conditions. Resistance will be minimal, Torvek announced to his officers. These humans may have survived their planet, but they have no concept of true warfare. Begin the landing sequence. 5 hours later, Torvak was receiving the first disturbing reports. Sir, his communications officer called, mandibles twitching nervously. Forward scout units are requesting immediate extraction. They report unusual behavior from human juveniles. Torvek flicked his upper limbs dismissively. Juvenile behavior is irrelevant. What of their military response? That's just it, sir. There is no military response yet, just children playing. Torvek strode to the communications terminal and activated the visual feed from Scout Unit 7. The image showed a large, flat expanse of what appeared to be a synthetic surface. Human children, perhaps 30 of them, were arranged in two opposing groups, running at each other at full speed. What are they doing? Torvak asked, mandibles clicking in confusion. They call it Red Rover, sir. The intelligence officer replied. The juveniles form a barrier by holding appendages. Then a member of the opposing group attempts to break through by running at maximum velocity into the barrier. Torvek stared. They willingly collide with each other for recreation. Yes, sir. Scout Unit 3 has observed a different activity called dodgeball. The juveniles throw high-velocity projectiles at each other, and the goal is to strike an opponent while avoiding being struck oneself. Torvak's exoskeleton paled slightly. Show me. The feed switched to a large enclosed space where human children were hurling spherical objects at each other with surprising force. One human child, smaller than the rest, caught a projectile that would have broken Kelvari bones, then immediately threw it back, striking another child in the torso. Both children laughed. Sir, the intelligence officer continued, voice quavering. Unit 12 reports an activity called tag. The juveniles chase each other at high speeds across irregular terrain. When one catches another, they strike them and immediately flee, transferring some form of contagion called peeing it. And the adults permit this? Torvak asked incredulously. Sir, the adults organize these activities. They call them games. Torvak's antenna went rigid. What else? The reports continued. Children swinging on metal bars high above the ground without safety equipment. Juveniles climbing tall wooden structures for no apparent purpose. Small humans throwing themselves down steep inclines on sleds during winter months. Others balancing on narrow beams and launching themselves into the air to land on thin mats. There's more, sir, the intelligence officer reported. They have professional sports where adults strike each other repeatedly. They call it boxing or football or hockey. The impacts would kill any Kelvari instantly. Torvek sank into his command chair, his exoskeleton clattering slightly. If these are their games, what must their warfare be like? A new transmission arrived from Scout Unit 1, positioned near a human military training facility. The footage showed human soldiers performing an exercise called live fire training. They were shooting actual projectile weapons at targets while other humans moved around the field. They use actual weapons in training, Torvak whispered. They risk death, even in preparation. Sir, his second-in-command approached cautiously. Perhaps we should reconsider this invasion. Torvak could not tear his eyes from the screen, now showing human children engaged in something called wrestling, where they grappled and threw each other to the ground. Indeed, any species that considers these activities to be entertainment is not one we should engage in combat. The observation continued for 3 more days. They watched humans willingly jump from high platforms into water for recreation. They saw them attach themselves to elastic cords and leap from high structures. They'd observed them riding unstable two-wheeled vehicles at dangerous speeds with minimal protection. On the fourth day, Commander Torvak issued his final report to the Kelvari High Command. The species known as humans have evolved on a world where constant physical trauma is not just expected but embraced. Their juveniles engage in recreational activities that would be considered torture in our culture. Their adults participate in formalized combat for entertainment. They deliberately expose themselves to pain, impact, and risk of serious injury from an early age. It is my recommendation that we classify Earth as a no-contact zone and withdraw all forces immediately. Any species that trains their young through controlled violence will respond to actual violence with unimaginable ferocity. The conquest of Earth would result in the extinction of the Kelvari. As the invasion fleet departed Earth orbit, a group of human children in a playground began a new round of King of the Hill, pushing and tackling each other to claim the highest point of a small mound. To the watching Kelvari, it looked like nothing less than a battle simulation for infants. Earth remained untouched by alien invaders, protected by reputation alone, a death world whose inhabitants played with pain and whose games resembled war.